came back with an updated version of my shrimp and grits. So we'll just go over the ingredients first. I have the vegetables that I'm going to be using. I have some white onions, red and green bell peppers. We have some garlic, rosemary, bay leaves, and that's pretty much going to be it as far as the vegetables go. And then we have, this is a pound of shrimp. It's already been cleaned, peeled, deveined, washed. We have some catfish because we're going to add that to the mix today. I'm going to add a little bit of sausage, although this is not normally the sausage I like to use for this recipe, but we're going to go with that today. I'm using Quaker quick grits. Even though it says 5 minutes, I still cook them for about 20 to 25 minutes. We have some chicken broth. That's what we're going to add to the pot after we saute our vegetables. And also we got some cornmeal here. That's going to be to fry the fish. And last but not least, we have some smoked gouda, and that's going to go to the grits once we are finished. So I will be right back to show you how we put this together. So for the fish, these are catfish fillets, and I pretty much just seasoned this basically with salt, pepper, and Old Bay, and I just sprinkled a little bit of parsley just because I like to be extra. For the shrimp, I just seasoned that with a little bit of Slap Your Mama and a little sprinkle of Old Bay on there, because you don't want to, seafood is very, very easy to over season. You don't want your food to be salty. I have here, this is a blend of Creole seasoning that I made up. I'm going to use that after I start sauteing the vegetables. So that's what I'm going to use to season the vegetables once I start to cook them. But in place of that, you can just use any type of Cajun or Creole seasoning you have at home, and just sprinkle a little bit on your vegetables as you are sauteing them. All right, so I have started to saute the vegetables, as you can see. And over here I have my oil. I'm gonna get ready to fry my fish. Once that's ready, I got the water going for the grits. And right now, I'm just gonna give this a little stir around. I usually let it cook just a couple of minutes, maybe like 3 to 4 minutes before I season it. Go ahead and add the rosemary in. This is also the point I add in my bay leaves. And I am just going to go ahead and put a little bit of my Cajun seasoning in there, and just give that a stir around. And I'm going to let this cook for about another couple of minutes or so before I add in the chicken broth. So I went ahead and added the grits to the water. I do want to mention that I seasoned the water for the grits with salt, and I add a little bit of garlic powder. And I'm going to just give that a little stir, because we don't want no lumps. And I'm going to cover that back up. As you can see, the oil's getting hot. And over here, I have added the sausage to this mixture. And it smells amazing. It literally takes more time to prep this meal than to actually cook it. Like, you can get done with this meal in less than 30 minutes. Once all your vegetables are prepped, it's just very easy after that. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken broth. And I will probably use pretty much the whole container of chicken broth. And so the sausage is pretty brown. It's gonna continue cooking though, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add the chicken broth in. So I've added all the chicken broth in here, and we are just gonna wait until this comes back up to a little boil. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little more of my Cajun seasoning, and you're gonna have to taste this like throughout to kind of get the taste that you're looking for. So once it starts to boil, don't be afraid to taste test at this point to see if you need any more seasoning. And my seasonings will be available very, very, very soon, just FYI. And so I'm gonna give that a couple of minutes. And also I do want to mention, once you're done with this, this is just personal preference, but towards the end, I will add a little bit of cornstarch to this just to thicken it up a little bit. It's just better that way, to be honest. So yeah, you want to mix I usually do probably like 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Just add about that equal amounts of water to that, stir it, and just pour it in here, and it thickens up instantly. So at this point, as you can see, the mixture has started to boil, which is what I was waiting for. I'm gonna go ahead and add the shrimp, but I just want to show you, I got the fish going right here. The grits pretty much done. I'm just gonna add in the smoked gouda, and that's about a half a cup of smoked gouda. I went ahead and added butter to that. That's the part I did not get on camera. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna dump all the shrimp in here instead of just placing them one by one. And there's actually 2 ways you can do this. You could cook your shrimp prior to, well, instead of adding them to this, you could cook them on the side and just add them on top of your mixture at the end if you wanted to. But just to save time, I just go ahead and dump it in a pot with this. And my shrimp are also seasoned, so every layer of this dish is very, very flavorful. And as you can see, shrimp are already starting to turn pink. They do not take long at all to cook. So like I said, this dinner is very fast. You can get a quality meal on your table in less than 30 minutes. And I really love the shrimp and grits recipe because you can do so much with this recipe. Like sometimes I do seafood shrimp and grits, like when I'm really in the mood, I will add everything: scallops, salmon, crab. There's so many different things that you can do with this. You don't even have to use like the breakfast sausage. You could get the links. You can use turkey sausages. You don't have to use sausages at all if you don't want to. And to be honest, I would literally drink this, the juice of this mixture with anything, without any meat, with just the vegetables and the chicken broth. Man, I'll eat it with anything. I will just dip bread into it. That's how much I love it. So much flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the cheese for the grits, and soon we are going to be ready to plate this. And as you can see, what I was saying about adding cornstarch, so the mixture is very thin, like a soup consistency, and so we just want to kind of thicken that up a little bit, because when you add the mixture on top of the grits, it kind of breaks down the grits, and then you'll just have a plate of slop. To be honest, like everything will just kind of melt into each other. So we want to go ahead and thicken that up. And I normally, like for breakfast, I will not have my grits this thick normally, but when I make shrimp and grits, I kind of keep the grits very thick, because like I said, once you add that mixture, it breaks the grits down, and yeah, you don't want a plate of just whatever it turns into. So yeah, so I kind of keep the grits as thick as possible. So I just want to add the cheese right in there. And my fire is down very, very low on these. Like to the lowest setting, because at this point I'm just keeping it warm, so everything will be hot when it's time to serve. So at this point I'm gonna go ahead, and the shrimp are done. I'm just gonna go ahead and add in the cornstarch like I mentioned before, just to thicken this up a little bit. So I'm just gonna add a little, and I'll stir it around to see if I need more or not. And this thickened up a little bit, as you can tell. You probably can see it binding together right now, but I'm just gonna add a little bit more. And you just give that a little stir around. And now everything is done. Fish is about to come out. Beautiful brown, creamy grits, and it is time to plate. And there you have it, my updated version of shrimp and grits. I should have plated this on camera for you guys, but next time. Enjoy. Bye.